Hello, and welcome back in, everybody, to another One Piece post-game video. This is where we like to read through the comment section of the previous video just to see what everybody's takeaway is from the latest chapter of One Piece. What does everybody think about Brook surviving the stab to the head? What do we think about Shuri not being Louven's biological daughter? What do we think about Emu versus Luffy? We're here to talk about all of that. So with that being said, let's hop right into the comment section. So, top comment is actually from me, so we'll skim right past that one right there. This says, Dragon, being an absent dad makes more and more sense as time goes on. Oh, for sure. Yeah, you know, Dragon not wanting to be held down by Luffy, Dragon not wanting Luffy to ever be held hostage against him. Yes, it fits really well. Nowadays, I think Dragon and Luffy meeting wouldn't be so bad. But back when Luffy was like, I don't know, 1, 2, 10 years old, yes, he is easy pickings for the world government. And boy, oh boy, I cannot wait to get the Dragon flashback. Not even necessarily for Luffy, but to see who Dragon got with. What happened to Luffy's mother? Is it actually Toma from the God Valley flashback? Is it someone else? Will that image from the film Red promo actually come back into play, and is that perhaps Luffy's mom right there? These are questions where I'm really looking forward to Oda's answer, because my god, I love a good romance story. Hopefully Oda does not disappoint. I don't think he will. Dragon, Luffy, Luffy's mom, these are pivotal points of the story and things Oda has kind of been building up to this entire time. So on to the next one. Wait, whoa. What is that? No, I thought we skipped the intro. Oh, jeez. I survived the headshot. And why is that, everybody? It's because they missed my brain and all my major blood vessels, just like Brook and just like Jarul. Surviving a headshot is kind of crazy, which does bring us to the next comment, which says, I feel like Brook surviving is about to be the logic for Jarul surviving his headshot to LMAO. And yeah, I think so. Dude, this is One Piece, man. We've seen characters survive the craziest things known to mankind, and we've also seen characters die to, I would argue, absolutely nothing. Great example. Izo and Ashura Doji, monsters in the One Piece world. Yes, they're not Zoro. Yes, it's not Luffy, not Kaido, no one of that tier, but they're still relatively strong. I still put respect on Izo and Ashura Doji regardless. So to see Ashura Doji die to dynamite while Pell survives a giant bomb point blank, crazy. Izo got hit with 2 Shigans, dead. Ex-Drake though, boom, 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 stabbed in the throat with the Shigan. Survived. Granted, he is a Zoan, albeit he's not awakened. Crazy stuff, man. You know, I do want deaths in One Piece. I am totally cool with them dying, but man, I really wish those 2 characters died to grander attacks, you know? Maybe Izo should have gotten like 100 Shigans, you know? It was his Zoro nothing happened moment, except this time he died. Cool with that. Ashura Doji? I don't know. Have Chondro's fire blow up all the bombs, and Ashura Doji tanks it all like Hodor. But a little stick, man. I'm still salty about that one, man. I liked Ashura Doji. Dude, he was in Wano for all those 20 years, suffering. People were begging Ashura Doji to fight Kaido, He told them no. They ran off. They died. Ashura Doji had to deal with all of that. So the fact that he never saw the dawn of Wano breaks my heart. But that's a tangent. Going back to Jarul, though. Yes, I do think that when we remove that sword from Jarul's head, which I still believe in, the Brook explanation we got this chapter is exactly what we're going to get hit with. Chopper or Law or whatever doctors in Elbaph dared, they're going to look at Jarul and say, oh, he survived because it missed his brain. And get this, the reason he didn't bleed out, it's because the sword was lodged in his head for so long. Was it 14, 15 years? It's been in there for so long that it healed around the sword. Yeah, we're gonna roll with it, man. And I am excited to see that sword back in action, by the way. Because according to Jarul, or should I say King Harold, that is a legendary sword. We don't know if it's actually a Meito graded blade, but I wouldn't be shocked because it was King Harold's, and it was formerly Jarl's, who was the strongest guy on the seas 300 years ago. This is the sword of one of the world's strongest men of the past. That sword's got to be crazy. Hopefully, it goes to Hyrule? Because Loki already has Ragnir. The only other character that's in Elbaph that needs another weapon is probably just good old Hyrule. So I'd be cool with that. Albeit we would be missing out on his Gungnir fist attack. But let's be real. Sword over fists any day. But that's personal preference. So now on to the next comment. The third comment, they say Louven is getting peak writing. Bro pulled a Last of Us and chose his daughter over the kingdom and led and lied to his people about it. Top tier dad, low tier king for real. Yeah. I'm gonna be honest, I've never played The Last of Us. I watched playthrough of the first game 10 years ago. Never played the second, never played the first. Like I said, I just watched a walkthrough. As far as Louven being a good character, I agree. I mean, this is a tough decision. You know, maybe some people in the comment section are going to be like, yeah, I'd give up my daughter for this. Personally, I wouldn't. Dude, I don't even have a kid yet. And let me tell you, I would side with Louven. Again, top tier dad, low tier king, but you can't be both, right? This is one of those rock and a hard places kind of choices. And let me tell you, man, I'm not giving up my kid, brother. I mean, even here in Elbaph, Emu was straight up saying, yo, children is what led the giants to be defeated 800 years ago. Even the giants of Elbaph couldn't do anything about this. So when people are like, oh, King Louven should have gave up Shuri. Yeah, easier said than done, man. You know what I mean? So yeah, I do like Louven for this. And the craziest part too is that Shuri isn't even his real daughter. I'm sure he doesn't see it that way. I'm sure, you know, the whole thing about, oh, your biological parent doesn't matter. It's who raised you. That is true. But that is still a fact that that's not his actual daughter, right? So the fact that he loves her that much, it's touching, man. It is touching. This says, we owe Dragon an apology. Maybe he is a great father after all. I wouldn't say he's a great father because he's never really acted as a father. But is he a smart father? Yes, I'll go with that. That might be a better way to put it. Emu, getting hit like Charlos is so peak. As an Emu fan, I agree and disagree. You know, on one hand, I do love that Luffy did it. At some point, yes, we are putting hands on Emu, and there's no villain thus far that has been untouchable. Kaido got smacked in the beginning of Wano. Enel got smacked. Like, all these characters, they will get touched by Luffy. I would argue maybe this is too soon. But then again, you know, Emu wasn't trying to dodge. Dude, whenever Emu gets the nastiest licks in him, it's when he's yapping. Remember that? He was talking about Joy Boy. Why? Who knows? And then all of a sudden, Loki comes in and slams his ass into the tree. It's kind of like the same thing here, where Emu is so lost in the lore that it got hit by Luffy. Would it have been more aura for him to dodge it? Yes. But I do think this falls in line with how Emu has been this far. And I've seen people saying that Emu looks bad off of this showcase. I don't agree with that. You know, when it comes to Emu, he is a tank. Would I want him to be stronger? Oh, 100%. But I don't think this necessarily makes him look bad, right? I think people have been bringing up a good point with Kaido. Dude, Kaido's getting smacked every single chapter, but guess what? Kaido is a freaking monster. I feel the same way about Emu. Him getting touched on like this, I don't think it's a big deal. I just think it's a little bit too soon, but it is what it is, you know? We have no idea what next chapter is going to bring, and I am excited for it. Loki, still not in hybrid form. Luffy, currently not in Sun God Nika mode. They're both going to transform. The greatest comparison I can come up with is like we're watching Jiren go against UI Goku and Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta. Emu's going to need to power up too. I do think that when Loki and Luffy power up, Emu's going to do it as well. That's my headcanon. I think we're going to get the iconic triple domain expansion panel from JJK. Now, obviously not like tit for tat. We don't want Oda to copy JJK, but I could see something like that happening. Boom, Loki transforms, Luffy transforms, and then Emu transforms as well. Dude, that'd be so freaking hype, man. I am here for it. But yeah, back to the brass tacks. I do like the parallels here. You know, these celestial dragons, man, they're getting clapped on. This one says, yo, the theme of kids being the weak point of the good guys is crazy. Dragon says it's a parent's greatest weakness. Garp says, screw the old man, save yourself and the child because that's the future you're saving. And now Emu has confirmed that they won before with this very tactic. I wonder what Oda Sensei is going to do to bring back this theme around in the end. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're just going to get more and more of this. And this is a thematic that I would argue most people here would agree with. You know, going back to the King Louven stuff, it's like, dude, yeah, man, I'm sorry, man. My kid, he takes priority. She takes priority. So I do get the sentiment a lot. And, you know, hopefully people can see that as well. This comment says, uh-oh, my Elbaph is going to be Usopp's arc disease is flaring up right now. I can already imagine the amount of empathy and anger Usopp probably feels after listening to Brook's flashback. He is about to activate Brave Warrior mode for his Nakama, and Elbaph calling it now. The chapter released. Usopp is exactly the same. I bet a fire is lit under his ass. But when we see Usopp's dialogue in the chapter, he's like, yo, my explosives, they're not working. What do I do now? And it's like, all right, we need him to lock in. Hey, I agree with you. I still believe there is room in this arc for Usopp, but it's just not looking like it's going to be next chapter. You know, when it comes to Usopp, we got to age him like wine. You know, we got to forget about him. That's how I deal with it, right? I believe that Elbaph will be Usopp's arc. Maybe a better way to put it is that Elbaph will have a really good Usopp moment, but I'm not looking forward to it every single chapter. You know, I'm letting that sit in the corner. It's in the chair, and he'll come out when it's his time. This says, the reason Brooke survives that pierce to the head is because of the afro. Dude, the afro didn't save him, man. Hey, sorry to say it out loud. The afro did not save this guy. When Gunko pierced him, it pierced him, dude. Afro and all. This comment says, I see it as how Brook processed not only his trauma, but that what he thought was seeing a nightmare. That what he thought was seeing a nightmare. Since he didn't know devil fruits existed. Okay, I see where you're going with that one. He knew that Shuri killing Louven was real, but thought that all the devil horns, wings, and stuff, and with Shuri being mind-controlled via supernatural means, wasn't real till he saw it happen on Elbaph to the giants. Yep, pretty much that is what Brooke said in the chapter. And when it comes to devil fruits not existing, yes, they're not commonly found in the blues, right? Buggy having a devil fruit was pretty rare, right? Buggy, was he the only devil fruit user? No. Alvida also found the slip fruit in the East Blue. And then there's also Smoker who had a Logia. But if you were to ratio it, there's more non-devil fruit users in the East Blue than devil fruit users, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think that's a fine explanation for Brooke. And of course, you know, right when he saw Domi Reversi, things started snapping back into place. This says, I already said in the last video, but would love to see a full chapter of Emu trying to talk lore, but Luffy keeps punching him before he gets it out. We basically just get little hints, yeah? I mean, hey, Emu can keep on doing what he's doing in this chapter, because even when Emu drops lore, whether it's this, whether it's Dozon, whether it's Joy Boy, he does vague post. You know, he beats around the bush. He doesn't try to, he just does it naturally, man. Emu, one of the best and worst people to talk shop to. And it would be funny too, because, you know, whenever Luffy hits Emu when he's trying to talk, it's not necessarily Luffy doing it. When you break the fourth wall, it's Oda doing it. Whenever Emu is saying something, Oda's like, not now! I don't know if you guys watch ReZero, but in the season finale, there's a character named Reed, and he's outside of his chamber, and Subaru says, hey, Reed, what are you doing here? How did you manage to leave your floor? And then Reed looks at him, he says, hey, you're not gonna get answers that easy, buddy. That kind of feels like what Oda's doing here. Like, hey, not too fast, guys, not so fast. This says, Luffy tends to have a rule of 3. He loses twice and wins the 3rd time. He bounces back like rubber, yeah? Great example, Crocodile, Anel, Kaido, Rob Lucci as well. I'm trying to think, more villains Luffy lost to in the beginning. Caesar Clown. That's another good one. Did he lose to Hody Jones? No, he didn't lose to Hody Jones. Hell, he didn't even see Hody Jones until he had the steroids. I'm sure there's another villain I'm missing out on, but yeah. Luffy tends to lose multiple times, and then he comes back with a freaking force. Question is, since this is Luffy's first time fighting Emu, is this going to be a loss? We'll see. Well, Dragon did say children is the weakness to parents, but everyone had mixed reactions before. But now, ... Ooh, the iconic Dragon ... I see what you did there, brother. And I never thought this was actually controversial. Like, the thing is, if you have kids, I feel like you can relate to this. Even if you don't have kids, I feel like you can relate to this. So I never knew why people had mixed feelings about it. And granted, I never really saw people saying this, so I'm just kind of going off of this comment. But yeah, to be against this is kind of absurd. This says, I feel like Oda has ensured every Straw Hat has some kind of family that is waiting for them on their island. Nojiko and Genzo for Nami, Zeph for Sanji, Mary and Kaya for Usopp, and the Usopp Pirates, don't forget them. Sun Pirates and Koala for Jinbei. Yeah, that is true. I wouldn't necessarily count Koala, but Koala would be really nice. I think more so for Arlong than Jinbei, but yeah, I'll give you that one. Koshiro or Johnny, and Yosaku for Zoro. Koshiro, yeah. Koshiro. You should also put Kuina's ghost there too. Dr. Korea for Chopper. Also put Dalton right there. The Revolutionary Army and Saul for Robin. Frankie has the Frankie family. Hey, and Iceberg. Hey, his brother Iceberg is there too. And then he realized Brooke just has a whale. So he wrote Shuri to give him someone else. Hey, he has Crocus too, man. Even though he's really old and should croak any day now. But I agree. I do love this comment. And you are cooking, right? This is exactly how I feel. I feel like by the end of series, if Shuri survives, her and Brooke are going to retire together. Another character for Sanji, I would also put maybe, hot take, the Vinsmokes? It seems like they might be changing their ways, or at least it seems like they're liking Sanji by the end of Whole Cake Island. So maybe we could include them. And then also there's Pudding. Sanji and Pudding actually did have something going on for a little bit, and that was Sanji's first kiss. I'm excited to see more Sanji and Pudding interactions. And for Zoro, hey, Zoro has Wano, man. Dude, him and Hiyori, I'm telling you guys, man, it's gonna be a thing. When we hit end of story, hot take again, I would love to see all the Straw Hats settle down on their respective islands. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Brooke's music might be super effective against Emu or the God Knights. Oh yeah, dude. I think music is going to be absolutely key when it comes to fighting the gods and the devils of One Piece. And not just that, Brooke has another ability that could be super effective, and that's his soul abilities. Brother, his soul abilities are pretty freaking crazy. Not a lot of characters in the verse of One Piece can really deal with that or have something similar to that. So if you were to tell me that Brooke's soul abilities and his music can sever the ties between Emu and Shuri, I'd believe you. I'd say it makes sense. I agree. This has Brooke and Elder Jarul seem to be a parallel with the stabbing of the head and the love of older women. Brooke, Candelle, Jarul, and question mark. I have no theory, but there's a lot to think about with these two, yeah? Hey, we still gotta know why Elder Jarul said that. Is that just like a one-off statement? Because, dude, when Jarul said that he loves older women, that was the title of the chapter, man. Out of everything that happened in that chapter, was that really the key takeaway? Just Jarul loving old women? There's gotta be some tie-in, man. Hey, there's gotta be something. And here's the thing. Jarul has only been getting more and more hype as Elbaph has gone on. So now, one of the last few comments, it says, it is probably Shuri's 16th birthday. That's the age of adulthood in One Piece, just like most old countries. So they probably wanted to take her back on her big day, which is why she turns 15. The fog happens for months, can't pay taxes, and now 2 more months for the war. Shuri probably got a 1-year timer to go back, which Louven and Candelle denied, which ended with the fog and Candelle dying and getting the final 6 months or whatever for taxes and shit, and then Shuri's final timer. Yeah, could be it. Could definitely be the age of 16 thing. Outside of that, it could also just be like Candelle was holding back the WG. I do like that idea a lot. Like maybe every time they try to come to Esperia, Candelle, like, you know, shoot him away because she's so freaking strong. I would like that. And again, when it comes to Candelle, I have no idea what to think about her, man. Was she a willing participant? Was she Ginny? Was she Magnolia? Or is Oda gonna go a brand new route with Candelle so he doesn't repeat those other plot lines? There's so much here, and I've been saying it, dude. I am really excited to see Shuri's POV. I am excited to see what Marcus Mars, Emu, and Louven were talking about. What were they scheming? Next comment says, Bond en avant literally means jump forward. That's cool. Yeah, I have no idea, man. You know, I've heard Brooke say this many times. Can't pronounce it, never learned what it actually meant. So that is a nice little tidbit. So now, last comment. They say Celestial Dragons going around banging everyone makes me think someone we've already met will have the same backstory just to make it more personal for the crew. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, what? Shanks was, I wouldn't say it's out of nowhere, but that was dropped in like Film Red. Boom, Celestial Dragon Kid. And then we had Bonnie. Boom, Celestial Dragon Kid. Shuri. Boom, Celestial Dragon Kid. Who's the next one? This one says, last comment, Guy waited for years so that the Holy Land can save the money on Gunko's upbringing. Yeah, hey. He didn't want to pay child support. He pretended to be an absent father, but he came back 15 years later, 16 years later, when he realized he'd have to pay for anything. Shuri and Louven, they footed the bill. But with that being said, we're gonna foot it on out of here. Thank you guys so much for watching this video all the way until the end. I appreciate it as per usual. And of course, since there's no break next week, we'll be back sooner rather than later. Also, we will be having a prediction video going up pretty soon in the next day or so. So make sure to drop your one-line predictions underneath the pinned comment. Reply to that comment with your one-line theories, and it might be featured in the next video. You guys take care. Thanks again for watching. Peace out, and stay safe, brothers.